Hello everybody, this is BooleanCube back in another tutorial in the JDA 4 series. And in this tutorial we're going to be learning how to make a roast command. Now first thing we want to do is create a roast class and implement the commands interface. And then after that we can implement all of its methods and then finish our get command and get help methods. Once that's done, we're going to check if the args is empty, just to make sure they didn't give us any arguments. And if they did, then we can just send our message saying like wrong command usage with the tools.wrong usage method. And in this tutorial, we're going to be using the Snowflake API, specifically this link. This is a REST API that we're going to be using for this tutorial. And so first thing we want to do is we want to initialize a URL variable, call it API, and inside the constructor we're going to give an argument, which is the link that I just showed you before. So we're going to copy and paste that link in there, put that in a try and catch all exceptions possible. And if we catch an exception, we send a message saying event.getChannel.sendMessage.queue, and inside the message we can just say like an error occurred. And then we create a buffered reader, which is going to read from the API, which is going to get its input and read from the API. So with this buffer, we're going to initialize this buffer reader, and inside that we're going to initialize a input stream reader. And then we're going to get the API, we're going to open a connection to it, and then we're going to get an input stream from it. And then to read the input from the REST API, we're going to get a string, call it input, and then do buffer reader dot read line. And what this does is it just gets the whole input in one line in a string variable. So this gets input in the sense like if we just control and click on the URL we pasted inside that thing right there, control click to go to the website, we can see that we have a line of text, which is our input from the API. And as we can see, we have a roast right there, and that's the input we get from the API and send in Discord. And how we're going to get the roast is because you see there's a bunch of other stuff in between in the input that we don't want, like the roast key and the braces and the quotation marks. We don't want all that. So what we're going to do is we just have to remove the first 10 characters or the first 9 characters and then the last 2 characters. And how we're going to be doing that is just by doing input.substring 10, input.length -2. And we're going to assign that to a string variable named whatever. And now that we have our roast, all we have to do now is send it in a channel. And now that we're done with that, we can add our command in the manager class and run our bot. And then head over to Discord and let's test and see if it works first try. So apparently it didn't work first try, and that's because the server returned an HTTP response code, which is 403. And a 403 response code basically means that we are forbidden from accessing that URL or that API for some reason. So what we have to do here is we have to create an HTTPS URL connection. And in this connection, we're going to have to set a request property that actually does have access to the API and can get data and set data from in the API. And how we're going to be doing that is we just have to do our HTTPS URL connection dot set request property, and we type user agent for the key, and for the value we copy and paste this exact thing because this is what gives access to the API, gives the bot access to the API. And don't forget to change the API.connection to the HTTPS URL connection variable that we created, because we want to get the input stream from that instead of our API, because we don't have access in our API and we only have access from our HTTPS URL connection. So make sure, and let's check if it works this time. That's it for today's tutorial, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. That's the roast command. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you're new, and have a great day.
Baba Bowie.